Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Heavy shelling is reported in Rafah as US President Joe Biden warns Israel against a major offensive in the southern Gazan city. Mr. Biden said if Israeli troops entered the densely packed city, we're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, called it a very disappointing statement. But the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the US would continue to ensure that Israel has the means to defend itself.
Civilians have been killed in Gaza as a consequence of those bombs and other ways in which they go after population centers. I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem. We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks like came out of the Middle East recently. But it's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons.
Plane bodies made by Boeing's largest supplier regularly left the factory with serious defects. That's according to a former quality inspector at the firm. Santiago Paredes, who worked for Spirit Aerosystems in Kansas, said he often found up to 200 defects on parts being readied for shipping to Boeing. He claimed he was nicknamed Showstopper for slowing down production when he tried to tackle his concerns.
Every day, I'm finding over 100 defects in every day. It's a recipe for disaster, really. I said it was just a matter of time before something bad happened.
Australia has announced it will ramp up its extraction and use of gas until 2050 and beyond. That's despite global calls to phase out fossil fuels. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's government says the move is needed to shore up domestic energy supply while supporting a transition to net zero. But critics argue the move is a rejection of science, pointing to the International Energy Agency's call for huge declines in the use of coal, oil and gas to reach climate targets. Donald Trump's youngest child, Barron Trump, is to enter the political limelight with a role at July's Republican National Convention. Delegates from across the US will formally select the party's nominee for president at the gathering in Milwaukee, set to be Barron's father. The 18-year-old has been named on a list of delegates at large to attend the event for the state of Florida. Previously, Barron's mother, Melania, had kept him out of the public eye. He appears on the list with other Trump family members who have long played key roles in their father's campaign, including Barron's half-siblings, Donald Jr., Eric, and Tiffany. Rescue efforts are underway in Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state after floods and landslides killed at least 100 people. More than 160,000 people have been displaced by the floods, with some municipalities completely destroyed by floodwater. Pictures have emerged of a horse stranded on a rooftop amid the floodwater in the city of Canoas. The city's mayor says that they were hoping to rescue the horse with the help of a helicopter. Miss Teen USA has resigned her title just days after Miss USA stepped down. Uma Sofia Srivastrava announced the news on Instagram, saying her personal values no longer fully align with the pageant organization. It follows an earlier announcement from Miss USA Nola Voigt, who cited mental health struggles as the reason for her departure. The Miss Teen USA organization said they supported Uma Sofia's decision and that a successor would be announced. And turtle hatchlings rescued after a severe storm in South Africa have been given a temporary home at the Turtle Conservation Centre at the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town. More than 500 endangered turtles were washed up along South Africa's coastline after the rare extreme weather event. Luckily, members of the public and volunteers from the Turtle Conservation Centre were able to rescue most of them, bringing the hatchlings to their facility based at the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town. Most of the turtles will spend the first few months of their lives in newly built plastic tanks at the aquarium before being released back into the sea.
We have a whole lot of turtles that have been rescued from along our coastline and are currently undergoing rehabilitation.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.